Hi. So, unless you've been living under a rock, um, and you're a big comic geek like I am, you must be aware that the big announcement late last year was that Vertigo was coming back, and in particular, it's coming back in February 2026 this year. And there's been drips and drabs of announcements, etc., about it. But this week in the comic shops, they were giving away a free sampler showing you the titles that are coming out. There's going to be three titles launching in February, and then there'll be drip feeding new titles as the year goes on. There's this sampler here, what was available in the comic shops, absolutely free. I think it's about 32 pages, and it lets you know about the the new titles that are coming out from Vertigo. So the one that everybody's already aware of is the Nice House by the Sea, which basically was a black label comic. And then when Vertigo was announced as coming back, they retroactively relabeled it as a Vertigo comic. So that's carrying on. So it gives you a little bit of the artwork. I will get this in trade because I do like James Tynion. But in February, there's three titles coming out: Bleeding Hearts by Dennis Camp and Stipan Morian, End of Life by Cal Starks and Steve Pugh, and this is a really long title: The Peril of the Brutal Dark, an Ezra Kane mystery by Chris Condon and Jacob Phillips. So just eaten. I'd realised I hadn't eaten all day, um, so I'll just read through the synopsis of these. Let's take glasses off. So it says, for the Bleeding Hearts one by Dennis Camp and Stipan Morian, it says the zombies won, and 10 years after the fall of humanity, they're the dominant form of life or not life on Earth. They've developed their own cultural practices, their own language, their own society, all organised around hunting and devouring the few living humans unlikely enough to still be fighting for survival. Mouse pokes golf ball through hole in head. Poke for short, is a valued and beloved member of the brain splashes and sizzles on hot rocks horde of the undead. And with his brother in arm mush, he's happy to shamble along through the only world he can remember until the day his heart mysteriously starts beating again. So this actually looks like this could be actually Dennis Camp having a bit of fun. I like Dennis Camp up to a point, but he's very, very serious in his writing, and he's always got to have a message. So I think this might be actually Dennis Camp just laying his hair down a bit, just going, and just really writing something that's a bit more tongue in cheek. And if that's the case, then I'll definitely be on board with that. Then you got the End of Life one by Cal Starks and Steve Pugh. I love Cal Starks as a writer and also as an artist. Steve Pugh is godlike in his art abilities. And it says it's the story of man-child assassin with some very grown-up problems. Professional hitman Eddie Stallion has messed up. He's accidentally robbed a high-ranking boss of the international cable of assassins, the menagerie of which Eddie is a member, or he was. Now he's got a massive price on his head, and every menagerie killer on Earth is looking to cash in. So Eddie chooses to look for safe harbour in a small Midwestern town of Pluto, and instead finds his resentful father dying of cancer, who has promised to kill him at some point, old friends looking to collect that bounty, menagerie assassins who have wandered into town, and a local crime lord who is, wait, is that this right? A cancelled newspaper comic strip creator who's turned to crime. All of this plays out in a town full of weirdos that stupid Eddie can't stand, and oh yeah, his childhood first love is there too. That sounds great. I mean, Cal Starks has recently been leaning more towards horror and action while still having that lovely line of absurdist humour. What he's got, he's got a fantastic sense of humour. So this looks like he's meshing the two very much here. So I'll definitely be checking that one out as well. And Chris Conn and Jake Phillips, I love everything they do together. So this is a definite one, but I'll just read the synopsis. It says, can one man crack the case of a theft from the gods themselves in a city with poison growing in its heart? Maybe, if that man is Ezra Kane. New York City, 1941. Ezra Kane is a private investigator with a reputation for taking it on the chin if it means solving a case. He's certainly tough enough. He served as a World War One flying ace and as a member of the NYPD, but it's his former life as an archaeology student that makes him the only man to track down an artifact that's gone missing from the Museum of Natural History, an ancient anvil said to hold the power of the Greek god Hephaestus. I've buggered that one up. If someone can harness that power, they could bend nations to their will. That sounds great. Very Indiana Jones meets the Maltese Falcon. So yeah, up for that. So I'll just show you some of the artwork from these titles. So this is Bleeding Hearts, the Dennis Camp one. You can see the artwork is absolutely gorgeous. Again, they've got top tier creators who are established and also new, exciting talent as well. It's a perfect mesh of talent. Marvel, you should be doing something like this. You should resurrect your Epic line and do this as well. This is why DC are how big they are at the moment. They're on fire at the moment. So this is End of Life, Cal Starks and Steve Pugh. Steve Pugh's so dynamic. He's such a great stylist in his art style. He makes it look effortless. And then you have the Brutal Dark. Jacobs Phillips. I'm become such a huge fan of his, especially since that Texas Blood, which I do recommend everybody check out in the collected format. But that's not all. It also shows you what else is coming out. So 100 Bullets is coming back. It's called The US of Anger. It's an 8-issue series by the original team of Brian Azzarello, Eduardo Rizzo. Great cover. I think that's a Dave Johnson cover. So that'll be coming out later on in the year. They've not got dates for these yet. And then there's a Crying Doll, 8-issue series again. Mariko Tamaki, who I really do enjoy. And I've not heard of this artist before. Rosemary Valero O'Connell. It says, Anna might just be a murderer. Can Polly save her from herself? Yeah, intriguing. Looks like there's a bit of a LGBTQ queer theme running through there as well, just looking at the characters. And this one has me really excited. This is an ongoing one coming out later in the year. And this is from Tom Taylor and Derek Robertson. It's Necretaceous, and it says there are many theories about the extinction of the dinosaurs that are all wrong. So this looks like it's going to be Jurassic Park, but with the horror ramped up. And if anybody can do a good horror comic art-wise, it's definitely Derek Robertson. And I have a lot of faith in Tom Taylor. And this one again is going to be really great. Mike Perkins, fantastic artist, and Ram V, brilliant writer. They're doing a recurring series. It'll be a series of either limited series or mini series called the Raven Black Tower, the Raven Conspiracy. It says occult warfare was only a fantasy. Pardon me, dead and debunked. At least that's what they'd like you to think. And this is coming out later in the year. And the final two. First up, there's Fanatic by Grace Ellis and Hannah Templer. Not heard of them before, but the cover is intriguing. It's an ongoing. It says she's the ultimate fan and she'll kill to prove it. So commentary on stan culture. And then there's a 6-issue series called A Walking Shadow. 8 strangers, 4 wheels, 1 light, 1 ravenous shadow. By Simon Spirit and Aaron Campbell. They're the ones who did the John Constantine series that was out about a year ago. So that will be a definite pickup as well. So I'm really, really excited for that. So yeah, Vertigo coming back in a big way, but I like how they're not flooding the market. They're just drip feeding. I like how the hard launch with free titles, and then they'll be drip feeding the rest as the year goes on. Tell me what you think. Are you excited about this? I must say, Vertigo for me, I've got three passions in comics. What I'll always try. So of course, 2000 AD, then Vertigo, and then Legion of Superheroes, which are my all-time favorite team. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time. Bye.